Good morning. It's Easter Monday, and I'm showing this live. I'm talking about, this is a brief film, about 15 minutes, brief film about the difference between creativity and perfection. And it's when you're being creative, if you are thinking of perfection, you will be reduced, and the energy of the creativity will be restrained. So one of the things I was looking at, and I will explain here on this live, is last night I drew a very, very simple drawing of this character. I knew nothing about them other than they were holding a map. I did their face, very simple lines, nothing there at all almost. And from there came a face that was started to grow. Then I did a hat, and as I was thinking about the map, as I was drawing, when I woke up this morning about them, I thought, a map. Now, I have a lot of characters in one part of my world called boffins. They make things. They're defined by what they make. So this is one of my boffins. This is Mrs. Mathagan. And she's a boffin who makes hats. Obviously, it's very illustrated, very detailed. And all the things that make up her skill are here. Bobbins, needles, threads, books, scissors, and they always have big hats, and she is officially known as the hat maker. She's making a hat for the spoon maker. We have not yet met the spoon maker, but she's making the hat for the spoon maker, and I like doing silly things with my illustrations. So here is another one. This is Braden Boren, who is an alchemist and he works with the fairy people. Here he's making a metal that's never been seen before. It's for a battle against the Lord of the Shadows. Here is a smaller drawing, but it's still relative. I'm still thinking, who is this? At first I thought it was a man, and this morning as I was drawing I began to realise that actually it's a woman, so that's great. And as I was doing the hat, thinking, well, if they're a boffin, what do they have on their hat? They're out on a journey. So the pictures I tend to do, they're doing what their skill is. They're out on a journey and they have a map. They're trying to find somewhere. So I drew this. I did the signpost. One signpost, the direction they're going to go in, of course, called elsewhere, 9 miles. Here, it's going to say otherwhere, and some here probably say somewhere. Compasses help you find your way. If you're on a journey and you need a compass, then you don't know the way clearly. You need a compass to guide you and a map. So the boffin became a compass maker. I love compasses. I've got one here. So I began to think about the combining of a compass maker and maps. So even their watch is actually a compass and a time. So she is so skilled at what she does that she can combine time and where you are. So when you experience time, so if you're doing something you really love, you just will say something like, God, where did the time go? That was amazing. Have we really been here 3 hours? And of course, if you're doing something you don't like doing, you'll say something completely opposite. Like, oh, God, I didn't think it was ever going to end. So these matters become important. So what I'm talking about this morning is the development of an idea, the development of an illustration from nothing to something, so that in the process, instead of trying to be a perfectionist, what I'm trying to do is not try to be anything and see what happens. Trust in the instinct. So I use pens, for instance. Draw the famous ship, the Titanic, hitting the iceberg. Well, interesting you should say that, because in book 3, I've got something called the Sire of Silithian, which is a great big ship made of immortal things that makes its way through a town, crushing houses beneath it, and nobody knows why. And they're trying to find out because time is running out. So, yes, why did these things happen? So when we're trying to do stories, one of the great pieces of magic about being a storyteller, and I've been a storyteller for 32 years, is that you have no fixed compass. You know where the story's going, but the journey there has to be really, really, really important. It has to be flexible. You're listening to your audience, listening. You're going on your journey and you're telling them what you see, what you're experiencing. And often you will leave silences. So here, I'm not seeking perfection. I'm trying to find out who the character is. And with my boffins, they tend to have their skills around them. Now, I happen to know now that this boffin, who is not yet named, is actually on a journey. Well, she would be, because she's a compass maker. And she's got compasses in her hat. Don't forget, that's what my characters do. The hat maker, who makes hats for the boffins, always gives them hats that have got their skills in them, like the spoon maker, like her, all the things that she needs to make hats. So the compass maker and creator has got compasses, but compasses don't always, in my stories, just measure where something is or where direct north is. It might give you other information or suggest things. So I have a character called Findorian who has a magical map, and he can travel around the world without being seen if he can get inside the map. With the map, there is a compass, and in part of the book 2, he has the map on his lap when suddenly the pointer spinning around stops, comes out, smashes the glass, goes up towards him, goes straight in his eye, and vanishes behind his eye. It's painful for a moment, and then it just sits there behind his eye. And from that time on, it helps him to find his way in his life and to find what I call the old way that still exists, but we can't see it anymore. It's like the energy lines in Britain, built by the ancient people. They would build things on the energy line, sacred spots. It's called the Dragon Line. Comes in Land's End, crosses Britain, so places like Stonehenge and Avebury, Modron, female site, male sites, along that line. So the ancient people knew about energy. So I have these characters who are quite small, these boffins. They're about child height, as I say child, about 8-9 year old. You are incredibly clever at doing certain things. There. Yes, I collect weird things. I collect a lot of weird things. Or I collect things that I feel have unusual about them. I collect spoons, so I've got that spoon maker. I like old things that have got patina and energy and are interesting to look at. By which, then, I create illustrations that are unusual, I suppose you could say. And this character, a new character, I'm going to do this next. So, this character who is on a journey is looking at a map. And I've got this quite strong pen. I use a number of different pens, different sizes. There's a 2, so that's thicker. That's a 3, but this is a 003, so incredibly small. I have lots of them, and yeah. And I just want to bring her more to life. So I've been drawing since I was 12, and now I'm 73. How life does go on. Just passes so quick. We have so little time. Thank you for sending hearts in the sky. Hi, Jamie. Jamie Cole. There. I grew up in Bristol, where the SS Great Britain is thinking about ships, and your question. If you go on the SS Great Britain, you get this sense of how people lived. I've added a little bit of a line, not a straight line, and she looks quizzical now, which is great. There, it's more like it. I put that in because there is this sort of look about her face as she becomes a character. Increasingly. So the threads here, I want this to be a threaded scarf. So I'm going to have a few loose threads here. I won't do it here because I haven't done her coat yet. But I will do it there. And her hand. I was saying earlier that when you're working on a very plain area, that's a plain area, but intensely important, clearly, because that's her face. When you're working on a plain area, every mark can change your attitude to that. Effect. So when I was drawing the scarf here, I was talking about perfection. If you make it too perfect, anything too perfect, the attempt to be perfect stops creativity, and all you're concerned about is making perfect marks. That's no use at all. No use whatsoever. What you want to try and be doing is to capture something as best as you can with your skill set. And 19 times out of 10, it's the creativity that people respond to. You can say, oh, mate, how on earth did that person draw that? But actually, for me, it's the creativity, the energy of detail. And this is a good example of another boffin. This is the lady who grows trees in her house. So for me to get my ideas, I'm working with a simple concept here, a cottage, an old lady, and a basket. A tree growing out of the house. tree growing on the house, a tree growing into the house here. And the trees have faces and things in. Then she's got a family, and there are carts full of baskets, full of trees. And so this was about 200 hours of drawing. And as I'm drawing, so her story grows with me, if that makes sense. I hope that does. So it's the energy of the drawing that matters to me as much as anything, because that in that place where I stop thinking about time and how long is it taking me, and what I'm actually thinking about is, wow, I like that. It's that energy that matters. And I always come back to my illustrations with the same kind of a feeling that I never even did it. So I'm creating 9 books is one of them. This is the Hidden Destiny that I've illustrated. And so in my world, I'm combining illustrations with narrative. And let's see if we can find a different illustration. Yeah. So I'm obviously tying a narrative together, a big narrative. But within any world, if you're a world builder, there are countless other characters. And who are they? And do they have a role in your narrative? Of course they do. They may be a sub-character. The main characters will always what we call grow within the narrative, the journey of the story. They will learn things. A character like this may not grow because they're not a main character, but they will play a role in the story. Or I might film a sub-story growing out of the narrative. Let me just show you what I mean by that. So this is a major character who was not a major character, but now is. This is Kayafin, who's the mother of the main character. And when I was drawing her, I drew this, which is the Gwythnthal, and she is holding the white owl of Gwythnthal. So when I'm drawing, I am considering concepts. This is an enormously powerful dwarf called Holgaf Grigthawel. He has lots of histories written about him in my journals. So these kind of things then become really powerful, important. I might do a whole couple of pages or more on a certain type of character. These are urges and grilks and thassalsnarks, and they come from the east, most of them. Some of them are called gurags as well, but they are characters that come out of their look. So I'm thinking about stories, but I'm also just drawing this character. I mean, but I know I drew it, but I don't think of it of me drawing. I'm just creating. So all these things become mega important along that concept. There's another one here. Fairy man painting a picture. So all these things become important to me. And their growth can only happen by allowing yourself to experiment. I drew this fellow one morning, and I haven't finished the illustration yet, but he's cool. He's good. He'll do, and he'll become something eventually. There's another one here. So I guess what I'm saying is that what is really, really important is allowing yourself to experiment. Oh, it's another one. Thrin Thridalek. He's an earth worker, and I made him as a sculpture, and somebody wanted to see what he would look like as an illustration. These are a lot of my characters that I'm writing about. The Sun People of Geradlis, the Elves of the Ancient White Wolves, the Fairies of the Yazzie, Goblins and Hobgoblins from the Goblin Empire. Those are the lands of Iron Urges that we just seen. Thrastlesnarks, Grilks, Snarlayans, Gurgleworts, the Dragons, the Swears of the Claw. All of these characters, these protagonists, become mighty powerful. Oh, let me just show you another one while I'm at it. While we're there. Another place. Great city. I think I've got one more I will show you before I finish on this idea. So it's not only people. This is a machine in Hallmark, and it's billowing strange and wondrous smoke, which is creating something that I won't talk about here. Pretty unpleasant. And then I might be creating cities. So I'm world building on different levels, making characters for those worlds, but also building the worlds themselves. And they may be dragons, they may be goblins, they're often elves or fairies, they will be all kinds of characters. And last but not least, this is the world. It's called Elsewhere, and see that the realms of Elsewhere. There are 32 countries, and we're basically bringing the camera backwards. So we've got the characters, we've got the landscapes, we've got the towns, the cities, we've got the mountains, we've got everything else. And within there are many, 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 many stories. And right there is back to where we started, the compass. So that's what I'm doing. And over the next 4 weeks, I'm sharing all I do and how I do. Or you can go on to Patreon, which is on my... oh, here's another one. It's going to be a dragon. You can go on to Patreon, and you can see what I'm about and how I'm working. If I can find who I was doing, here we are. So the characters have to start somewhere, and most importantly, really, really important, is not perfection. It's creativity. And it's in drawing and chatting to myself if I'm just on my own. And the idea begins to form in that way. So, hi, legend. I say, hey, hi back. Thank you for being here. If you have any friends who like this kind of thing, do share. And I'm doing a lot of lives over the next 3 weeks as I share my realms of Elsewhere and how it works, what I'm doing to create 9 books. As I said right at the beginning, this is book 1, and on the back is the first illustration that I ever created back in 1977. So yeah, that's my world, and I'm sharing it here on YouTube. I hope you like it, and I hope you come back at some point or share it with someone else. I'm going off for a cup of coffee. It's Easter Monday. I will see you again some point in the week. I probably will do a live most days at around this time. Thank you for being here. And may you enjoy your Easter Monday. And if you had an egg or something, I hope you enjoyed it. Which is a very good point before I leave, is that the Easter, the name Easter, comes from a Celtic goddess, and her symbol was an egg.